This video is for informational and educational purposes only. Some elements may be AI generated and may contain occasional inaccuracies. Viewers should verify information independently. In November 2025, the world stands at a decisive geopolitical crossroads. The United States and Europe, the two pillars of the transatlantic alliance, are facing symmetric shocks, unfolding at the same moment, reshaping internal politics, security strategies, and global power balances. America is consumed by political paralysis and economic anxiety. Europe is dealing with war on its borders and rising internal social fractures. Together, these crises form a moment of profound uncertainty and a test for the future of Western unity. Today's episode breaks down the key geopolitical challenges facing the United States and the European Union in November 2025 and what they mean for global stability. The U.S. enters November 2025 in the midst of a government shutdown. Congressional deadlock over federal funding has frozen crucial programs, halting healthcare access, food benefits, and federal services. President Donald Trump's approval rating has fallen to its lowest point since returning to office. His administration faces legal challenges related to tariffs and whistleblower cases, further intensifying political tensions. Yet amid this paralysis, Washington witnessed a rare moment of overwhelming bipartisan action. The House passed the Epstein Files Transparency Act with a stunning 427-1 vote. The Senate then approved it unanimously. This vote was forced onto the floor after 4 Republicans joined Democrats in a discharge petition, an extraordinary move that bypassed Speaker Mike Johnson's control. Even Trump allies like Troy Niels and Jim Jordan criticized the bill publicly before eventually voting for it. The rebellion was summarized bluntly by Republican Congressman Thomas Massie. This episode revealed something deeper. The internal fracture lines within the Republican Party are widening, and congressional paralysis is now affecting millions of citizens. The political gridlock is unfolding alongside an increasingly fragile economic landscape. Inflation continues to run above the Federal Reserve's target. Labor participation is declining. Families feel squeezed. Household savings are thinning. A major source of anxiety is the expected doubling of Obamacare premiums in 2026. For millions, this means healthcare will consume a larger portion of their income. Rising prices, stagnant wages, and political dysfunction amplify one another, fueling a national mood of frustration and mistrust. Against this backdrop, the administration is pursuing a major strategic shift abroad. In characteristic fashion, President Trump has formalized a landmark security agreement with Saudi Arabia, designating the kingdom a major non-NATO ally for the first time. This designation grants Riyadh faster U.S. weapons transfers, permission to store American weapons, eligibility for Pentagon contracts, access to depleted uranium ammunition. The U.S., however, is not treaty-bound to defend Saudi Arabia. This strategic realignment follows Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's pledge to increase Saudi investment in the U.S. from $600 billion to nearly $1 trillion. The move signals a transactional, investment-driven foreign policy shift, even as domestic instability continues to shape American politics. Europe's attention remains fixed on the war in Ukraine. New Russian missile strikes continue to hit multiple regions, causing civilian casualties and damaging infrastructure. In response, the European Union is accelerating a major defense reform, the Military Schengen, a system designed to allow rapid movement of troops and equipment across borders without bureaucratic delays. For decades, military mobility was Europe's weakest link. Now it is becoming the centerpiece of continental deterrence. Diplomatic efforts continue. Turkey is hosting renewed attempts to restart peace talks between Russia and Ukraine. But confidence is low, and the battlefield remains highly active. Europe's unity is under pressure, not only from the east, but from within. Large public protests against Israel's military operations in Gaza are reshaping political debates in capitals across Europe. Governments face intense pressure to adjust their foreign policy positions. At the same time, the EU prepares to implement a new migration pact in 2026. This includes stricter borders, faster asylum decisions, and tougher deportation policies. For many Europeans, the policy is necessary for security and stability. For others, it contradicts the EU's human rights ideals. These two debates, foreign policy and migration, expose deep ideological divides, threatening to erode political cohesion during a time of war. The crises facing the United States and Europe are different, but deeply interconnected. The US is turning inward, overwhelmed by political dysfunction and economic uncertainty. Its major foreign policy action in 2025 is unilateral and transactional, focused on Saudi Arabia rather than Europe. Meanwhile, Europe is forced to rethink its defense posture as the war in Ukraine enters another difficult phase. Internal divisions add pressure to an already stressed political system. This divergence creates a troubling strategic reality. Europe may be moving towards strategic autonomy, not by choice, but out of necessity. If the United States remains inward-focused, the transatlantic alliance risks fragmentation, and global rivals, from Russia and China to Iran, will watch closely for any widening cracks. As 2025 draws to a close, the world's most powerful alliance faces its biggest stress test in decades. The choices made now, by policymakers in Washington and Brussels, will either reinforce the transatlantic partnership or accelerate its drift into uncertainty. The stakes are high, and the world is watching. What do you think? Will the US and Europe reinforce their alliance or drift apart? Share your opinion in the comments. Join the Timeless Hub community. Subscribe, share your thoughts, and explore how today's decisions shape tomorrow's world.